Well, it is special for Limerick people because, look, 5 or 6 years ago, we'd never have dreamt that we were in a situation where we were, involved in 4 All-Irelands in 4 years. This is what Kilkenny beat us 2 years ago, but we're in our third final in 4 years. And it's just amazing. Like, it is just, nobody could ever even envisage it because we've had so many bad days and disappointments. And now, this group of players are unreal. They're special. They're the best. We can't go back to the Mackies, obviously, different times and all. But, you have to say that they're the best we ever produced. And that's not saying anything about, because the 30s was just a different year and different world. But in everyone's living memory, this is by far the best hurling team that we have ever produced, I'd say. And possibly ever will produce even, I'd say, in the future.
Cork always had that bit of cleverness, always, like. Even I met an older woman today, and she said, my father always said, cock up and beaten until you're at home, having them beaten. Just seldom we beat them, but around here now, it would be the supporters. There'd be more tension on the supporters than on the players, you know what I mean? Yeah. None of them want to give up the right, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then you have Charleville, and I think Charleville is nearly half Limerick anyway. Yeah. Half Limerick, I met I won't say who they were, the two brothers there a couple of months ago, and they said, how will we get on against Cork? Hang on a minute now, I said, you're from Charleville. We are, they said, but our parents were from Limerick and we're Limerick, they said. There you go. And they're well connected now to a very good holiday in the past, I couldn't believe it. He said, no, he said, we're Limerick. And, the rivalry would be a terror, unreal. The supporters, whatever supporters get beaten between here and Charleville, to be a living terror, be living terror. I met a fella the other night, and he told me, a fella rang him up, a fella from Ballahea, at 3 o'clock in the morning, texting him about Cork, we're going to give it to you and all this. So and inside in bed got helpless. Yeah. The rivalry is great, though, that's what makes it, in fairness, And around here it would be unreal, the rivalry,
Apparently Cian was unbelievable soccer player. Obviously, you can see by him, he's unbelievably athletic. The way he runs, the way he moves, the way he jumps, you can kind of see that. I'd say whatever he turned his hand to, he'd be fairly good. And left hand on top, and the way he just moves and the style that he has, I don't want to say awkward, but he kind of has an awkward stance about him. But he's just so aggressive in the ruck, always comes out with the ball, but he's just developed into a huge leader in the team. And even when, I suppose, things aren't going well for that Limerick team, which is, in fairness to him, seldom enough, he always seems to be the go-to lad, to be fair to him. And even, he kind of seems to take all the opposition backs with him. I'd imagine Cork will probably put maybe Mark Coleman, like they did the last time, on him. Mark Coleman's a super player, and their whole game plan revolves around him, so you'd have to wonder then, how does that suit their game plan? So all those things with Cian in the mix makes a massive difference.
We've discovered, of course, that Luke Meade has very close connections with Limerick in that his dad is from Knocklang and is played in the Limerick Football Championship, and we dug up a photograph of his dad the day he won the county final as a goalkeeper in football in 1976.
The Cork hurling team are worse than the English soccer team, stealing a lot of Irish players. It's clearly packed with Limerick blood in this Cork team.
Well, he's probably Cork's Jack Grealish or Declan Rice, one of those. But we discovered that, of course, and we have a good bit of snippets there about various little facts, like Nicky Quaid is the son of Tommy. They're both all-stars now, the late Tommy Quaid. We have a bit about the Collins goalkeepers, which is a unique situation. Brothers, and they're vying for the number 1 jersey. And one of them will wear 1 and the other will wear 16. It will be probably Patrick number 1, jersey 16.
I would be just nervous of a Limerick and Cork All-Ireland final. I mean, our neighbours were only 4 miles or 4.5 miles from the border. And I mean, we've had the edge on them in the last few years, but I can remember in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s when we would only beat Cork maybe once in 10 years, and we so fellas like me are nervous because we've seen a lot of bad days, which we thought we were going to beat Cork, and we didn't. Now this team are the best team in Ireland, I would say that. But when the match is on and it starts for the 70 minutes, the best team always doesn't win All Ireland finals. It happens in the 70 minutes, So I would say that the team are exceptional, a great team, and I would think that if we play up to form, we'll win. I think we'll win.
I definitely think Limerick. I'd be more confident about Limerick this time against Cork than any time in the past. I'd be more confident about them this time because, of course I'm afraid of Cork. Really, really afraid of them. That terrific speed and everything. But we have the couple of mountain men. Every team are big, but we have a couple of extra big fellas. 3 or 4 of them extra big, and they're strong and they're committed, and they're like a family. In fairness, that's what all teams. But this Limerick team are very dedicated all together.
Certainly are.
I remember I'd be friendly with a young girl that plays with us. And I was back there one Christmas, and his father taught me. He said, Graham. He said he ate a biscuit. And he said that was the first biscuit he ate this year. He ate one biscuit. The dedication, that was 2018, in the whole year, And I actually remember.
What type of biscuit was it?
Pardon?
What sort of biscuit was it?
Just a plain one, I think. Just a plain biscuit, yeah.